The Trump administration could reclassify marijuana, according to a new report from the Wall Street Journal. The move would continue efforts started during the Biden administration in 2024. A reclassification of the drug to a Schedule III would make it easier for people to buy marijuana and for distributors to sell it, but it wouldn't make marijuana entirely legal. Reclassification would allow, though, for tax breaks and additional medical research.
All right, we're bringing back our chief legal analyst, Khalif Rhodes. We just had that report from Jane King at the stock exchange saying cannabis industry booming yesterday with this news, right? Yeah. Lighting up, getting all excited about that. All right, but let's talk about this. Not making it legal when it comes to recreational use, but could this move of reclassifying it to Schedule III be perceived as like a safety endorsement? And it leads to higher rates of use?
It could. I mean, but this reclassification is not guaranteed to be just to 3. It can go to 2, it can go to 3, or it can be removed completely from the controlled substances list at all. And so there are a number of ways that this can happen. Being a Schedule I puts it on the same level as heroin. Now, I'm not a drug user, but I'm pretty sure marijuana and heroin shouldn't be in the same classification. I don't think you need to be a scientist to recognize that they have different drastic secondary effects, different drastic impacts. And so while you have 38 plus states that have legalized marijuana use in a number of capacities, either medical or recreational, what you don't have is the federal government stepping out of the way. And our last hit, I've talked about how the party of smaller federal government has done that in a number of regards, with abortion, with all type of other type of care. This would fall in line with their normal thinking. Let's remove the federal government's regulation. Let's remove the federal government's hands and allow the states to make determinations. And that right now is the only thing that's blocking individual contributors to this marijuana process. And bigger companies that are trading on Wall Street, they don't have the access to the tax benefits that you would get because the federal government is blocking them from being able to utilize those.
With this reclassification, I'm thinking of people who are in prison and jail right now for marijuana crimes. What would this reclassification, would that have any impact on people who are currently locked up for that? Or is it kind of, you can't go back?
That's a great question. Typically, when you implement a new change, there's not a retroactive effect. Not saying it couldn't be. Say if they make this, and remove it from the scheduling, Congress could then take some action and say, look, we're going to allow this to retroactively take hold to anyone that was convicted of these type of charges. But you also, on the criminality aspect of it, a number of jurisdictions, primarily, and this is, I guess, a bipartisan issue, primarily on the Democratic side, in those jurisdictions, they have had a hands-off approach to the criminalization of marijuana use and of distribution, and where you have prosecutors outrightly saying, we're not prosecuting, less than a half an ounce type of charges. Like if you arrest someone on that, it's basically we're not going any further with that in jurisdictions like Philadelphia, where I'm from originally. That's the type of things that you've seen happen. So I think the states are attempting to figure out how to get it right. The federal government, on the other hand, the DEA is in the way, the FDA is on the way. So if you're trying to do research and figure out the medicinal purposes for marijuana, you got to jump over a lot of hurdles because it's the same hurdles as you would for trying to research heroin.
Well, that's my question, Khalif, is that what does the rescheduling do to open up, national institutions, say NIH, from being able to finally research what impacts cannabis use can have on people like veterans, cancer patients?
I mean, it's already happening. It's just they got to jump over hurdles.
Right.
And right now, they wouldn't have to jump at all. Like if they make the change and they reclassify it, you can say, look, we can increase the amount that we can get because it's based on the amount that you are actually asking to do the research on. So if I'm requesting that, do pounds of it, now the FDA, the DEA is saying, we're going to walk you through a long process before you can get it. Now it'd be like going to the corner store and being able to pick it up. That's the drastic difference in reclassifying it to 2 or 3 or removing it from the classification process. But I mean, there are a number of other things. We talked about criminal. We talked about medical. There's the economic benefits with the taxes. We got the banking. The banks will work with you now because it's something that they don't have to worry about the federal government saying, well, this is an illegal activity. I mean, the public health and safety aspect of it is there as well, because now you don't have folks, worrying about this product being regulated different capacities. While states may regulate it one way, federal government is now regulated a different way. I think that the ultimate push would be removing it completely and treating it more like tobacco. Treating it getting rid of the prohibition and treating it in that capacity where you have, these regulations limited to the scheduling, which I think opens up the door for a lot more access for research, for a lot more access to commerce and growth.
What kind of data or evidence does the Trump administration have to say, we want this to be Schedule 3 and not Schedule 2? Is it like what Julian was saying, here's more evidence of how this could be beneficial to PTSD or cancer patients, therefore that bumps it to a 3 instead of a 2?
I don't think they need the evidence. I think this is just a decision that can be made. The Biden administration talked about it before. This isn't the first administration to talk about it. I just think this is the administration that will honestly get it done. They have consistently said this is an issue. You have folks on both sides that are lobbying for it. You can't find many things right now that are bipartisan support. Right here in Mecklenburg County, Kelly Alexander, who most recently passed state rep for a number of years, he was pushing the efforts on the state level to legalize it. But on the federal level, you've had, multiple folks trying to figure out a way to get the federal government to do this reclassification. So then you tie in the reclassification to legalization on the states, and then you got to get folks to do what they want to do, which is research and maybe partake.
There you go. All right, our chief legal analyst, Khalif Rhodes, weighing in on that. Khalif, appreciate it.
Queen City News Plus. Just search Queen City News on your smart TV's app store.